Okay, I believe we're live and I'm sharing my screen. Hopefully you can see it. And let me do some setup here. Okay, sorry about that. Cool. I think we're ready to go. Just wanted to have a quick wrap-up session as the hackathon is drawing to a close. Just a quick wrap-up session of what we've accomplished, and also go through a few reminders that I wanted to share with people. I mean, first of all, thank you for all your work. I've seen. I'll be sharing in a few minutes all the contributions that the community members have made, which was far exceeded my expectations. So I thank everybody for that. I'll say that a couple of times, but it's been pretty impressive what people are able to accomplish in a short period of time. So without further ado, I'll get started. I don't want to make this too long. I just wanted to take care of a couple of administrative stuff and then wrap things up here. Right, moving to the next slide. Just a couple of things I want to point out. We did have several tutorial sessions over the past few days. I mean, I led kind of somewhat of a kickoff related session yesterday, but we had a lot of good technical presentations and discussions around Meltano, Omnibus, GitLab architecture today, and also Gitter, which turned out more into a sort of a hands-on session. You got to watch a novice like me trying to push a merge request to help improve Gitter, just to demonstrate that the hurdle isn't necessarily high for new contributors to start contributing to different areas of GitLab. So first of all, big thank you to all of our presenters. Jacob, DJ, Stan, and Eric, who've done a wonderful job with their sessions. And all the presentations and video sessions are posted on the wiki page. And let me share that with you. This is our event wiki page. If you scroll down, this is where all the slides and videos are posted. So feel free to, if you haven't had a chance to join these sessions live, you'll have a chance to sort of catch up on those. And if you have any questions on the content or material that were covered there, I mean, feel free to reach out to me or any of the speakers that presented those talks over the past few days. So once again, just like we did last time, I think we've gotten a lot of good content in our video library, if you will, for future reference. And as I alluded to earlier, just want to share, what in terms of MRs, so what the community's been able to do over the past few days. The last count. The screenshot doesn't even fit in this slide. Well over 60 MRs that's been submitted. I mean, this more than doubles the number of MRs submitted for the last hackathon. I think the last time around, I can't remember the exact figure, it was around like a 22 or 23 MR submitted back in September, and we surpassed that number at the end of day one yesterday. I mean, we hit over 30 by the end of day one yesterday, and we almost doubled that today. And I think last time around, the MRs were mostly around Community Edition, Enterprise Edition, and our website. But now the community members have branched out to different areas of GitLab, like including GDK, Gitter, Shell, and Runner, and there might be others that I may have missed here on the list. So this issue here on the hackathon page is where we're keeping track of all the MRs that's been submitted during the hackathon. If you think yours is missing here, please feel free to ping me. Gitter is usually probably the best way, or even you can probably comment directly on the issue here, just to make a note that your MR is missing, so that we can give you proper credit for MRs that have been submitted. And I mean, once again, as I noted earlier, just really exceeded my expectation in terms of MRs and other discussions that have gone on Gitter. So thank you all for that, and I'm very excited to keep this going. The next slide, a couple of reminders. The prizes that we talked about yesterday, I mean, the same rule as last time. Basically, anyone with the MR that's merged will receive a prize. It's one of the, I mean, it'll be a pair of GitLab slippers. And the individual or the person with the most MRs merged will receive a grand prize. Interesting looking GitLab skateboard that you can show off. And you have until November 26th, so about 10 days from now on, because some of the MRs do take time to get merged. And I mean, you might still have to do some tweaks and make some changes based on reviewers' comments. So you have about 10 days to get those merged. But if you need help or escalation or putting your MRs in front of the right people on Gitter, either ping me or Dave Planella. If something's not moving, as fast as you like, and we'll be more than happy to help you out. So that's it on the hackathon prizes. But I encourage you to get your MRs moving along, and then over the next 10 days, and then you still have. I mean, especially if you're like me in the Pacific time zone in the US, I mean, you still have several hours left in the day of November 15th. So if you want to start working on the MR, I mean, please feel free to do so. I think there was if you look at the latest Gitter chat, I might try to type it here. There were suggestions on some of the easy MRs that people can work on. Let me post it on both on the Google Hangout chat and also on YouTube. Take a look at George's suggestion in terms of some of the easy MRs that people can start working on. So if you're in the West Coast of the US, for example, like I say, you can start working on MRs. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can iterate over time over the next 10-day period. So I strongly encourage you to start taking a look at some of the issues that George identified as something that's be pretty easy to get started on. Cool. So going back to the rest of the bullet points on the slide, obviously, if you have any suggestions, feedback, or even criticism of the event, of how things went over the last few days, please feel free to reach out to me on Gitter, or if you want to have more broader discussion through issues. I mean, feel free to open an issue on the hackathon page, and even if it's something like you'd like to have a session on topic X for the next hackathon, there'll be a perfectly valid feedback that you can provide. I mean, please let us know, and we'll try to line up a topic and speakers that people are interested in. The next hackathon, so I think I mentioned it yesterday, we definitely like the idea of having a quarterly hackathon. So we'll try to keep the quarterly cadence. And it'll obviously be sometime in Q1, but look for an announcement. We'll make an announcement on various channels that are listed here, Gitter, blog posts, or Twitter, sometime in January on when the next hackathon event will be in Q1. And like we did for this one in Q4, I think we gave people about a month notice. We think that's sort of like a heads up that we can provide so people can start planning for this. And that will give plenty of heads up to people. And see you back here in Q1 for the next hackathon. Okay, I think that's about it. I mean, that's about. I'm trying to see on the YouTube live stream if there are any questions. I mean, if you have any questions, and if you're following this on YouTube live stream, please, I mean, feel free to type your questions on the chat. I'll give it another minute or so to give people a chance to type in any questions that you may have. And like I said, I can't thank people enough. So this is my last slide. I mean, thanks for your enthusiasm, questions on Gitter, discussions on, and so forth. So I definitely appreciate people joining and participating. But feel free to, I mean, reach out to me in not only in terms of helping with your MRs, but if you have other questions in general that's not even related to hackathon, you know how to reach us on Gitter and other channels. And let's see, I'm checking the YouTube live stream here, and yeah, I don't necessarily see any questions. But cool. Obviously, there'll be a recording of this posted on the wiki page as well. So if you didn't have a chance to ask a question during the session, or if you're just watching the recording, feel free to reach out to me. Thanks again, and I'll just wrap this up, and I'll just see most of you guys online pretty soon. Thank you very much. Have a good day.